My name's David. I have a girlfriend, and well, we've been hitting it off really well. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she turns into this possessive demon. And what does she do? She tries to actually set me up with another girl who starts to flirt with me to see what I would do and how I would react. Well, when I didn't fall for her little test, she gets mad about it and she does this. I'm David, 23 and male, and I ended my 7-month relationship with my girlfriend. Let's call her Olivia. Just a few days ago. I was fed up with her constant pestering and just decided she wasn't worth my time anymore. For context, me and Olivia bumped into each other in a nightclub. We struck up a convo, and before I knew it, we were spending all our free time together. Initially, she was warm, friendly, and had a smile that lit up the entire room. She was spontaneous, carefree, and lived life to the absolute fullest. She never left my side and always gave me her utmost attention. Not a single second was boring with her, and admittedly, now I see how much spending so much time could have been a red flag. But back then, I was having the time of my life with her for the first few months, and I just almost started thinking she was the one. But I spoke too soon. It took me 3 months of dating her to notice, well, that something was a little bit off about her. She'd frown whenever I mentioned the name of another girl in one of my stories, or if she saw me texting a girl at all. At first, I thought it was cute, but her behavior was a little obsessive. She would ask me to send her snaps on Snapchat just so that my location information would pop up. As I later found out, which felt invasive and controlling, Olivia even went as far as to harass one of my coworkers and best friend Layla, just to get her grubby little hands off me. It raised some concerns in my mind, but I waved it off as a petty jealousy. All this in just 3 months. I was truly alarmed, though when she joined the same company as I did in the name of wanting to be closer and save on commuting, I would occasionally glance at her and her eyes would find mine instantly. She was just grinning wildly. It was almost like she was, monitoring me. I would often notice her glaring at me speaking to any of my female colleagues. I thought of getting her fired so she'd finally give me a bit of space, but she somehow managed to finish all her work and be productive while staring at me all day. Layla would sometimes catch my eye and gesture a, "What the heck?" when she observed me and Olivia, and I would just shrug because honestly, I didn't know what I was doing either. But around the 4th month, Olivia, she shows up at my doorstep with all her stuff on a Saturday and said that she's moving in as a surprise. Well, I found her behavior absolutely appalling. But she also cared for me, so no matter how obsessive, she still made sure I felt good and took care of all my needs. I'm talking some great sex. Almost every single day, and she slept over most day anyways. So I thought, why not just let her move in? I didn't think it'd be any different from before. In fact, the first few days we spent unpacking were absolutely amazing. She'd cook the most wholesome meals, pamper me, and our showers together, well, yeah. After she got settled in, she'd have breakfast ready every morning when I woke up. We left for work together, came home together, and went out together everywhere. This was a little suffocating to me though, but I compromised as it was a small price to pay for such a great relationship. Or so I thought. One night, I wanted to wake up super early to have an international meeting, so I set an alarm. I was woken up by Olivia just a couple hours later. She handed me my phone unlocked. I never mentioned my password to her as I usually used fingerprint mode. And she said that the noise was annoying her, so she'd switched the alarm off. Something about her tone, though, irked me. So I checked my recent tab. A bunch of chats with my best friend Layla were open on different apps. Olivia had evidently gone through my phone, so I confronted her, and she burst into tears almost immediately. She just starts blabbering about how her ex cheated on her and that she had major trust issues. I cut her off at that point and told her I had a meeting to go to, and after my meeting ended, however, Olivia seemed like she was back to normal. She was behaving a little too sweet, massaging my feet while I scrolled Instagram on the bed. She was just acting weird, bobbing her head in weird motions and glancing above my head like something interesting was going on. So, I just looked behind to see exactly what she was even staring at so intently, and instantly found her source of entertainment. It was a small hanging mirror slanted downwards. She could see what I was doing on my phone the entire time. She could see whose pictures I liked, whom I texted, whose stories I viewed, other activities. Most of the time, I was just scrolling through memes, but I was still furious that she would disrespect my privacy and boundaries this way. She just shrugged at me, took the mirror off the wall, and went to bed beside me. I was seething before I slept, but after I woke up, I could care less. Over the months, her behavior would get worse. She tried isolating me from friends, from family. She constantly tried to limit or control the time I spent with my friends and family, and even tried to convince me to cut ties with them altogether. At first, Olivia would make comments about how much time I spent with my friends and family. Well, she would say things like, "Do you really need to see your friends again this weekend? Why do you always spend so much time with your family when I'm here?" I initially thought it was just a harmless comment, but I started to feel a bit guilty and like I was neglecting her or something. Soon, Olivia's comments turned into actions. She would try to guilt trip me into spending more time with her by just saying that I was neglecting her. When I tried to invite her to hang out with my friends and family, she would always decline, saying that she had other plans. Well, it wasn't long before she starts to demand that I cut ties with my friends and family altogether. She would make comments about how they did not like her or how they were a bad influence on me. So I warned her to stop persisting and just told her I would break up if she tried to isolate me from my loved ones. At that point, Layla helped a lot. I texted her in the bathroom explaining my plight. She was concerned for me and kept telling me I was in an abusive relationship. But I was in too deep to see the signs of abuse, and she offered support when I needed it and made sure that I was mentally okay. I was grateful for her kindness because no other friend would talk to me so openly. Olivia had been rude to most of them, and around here I was just about ready to break up. As Olivia was affecting all other relationships I had, I tried to talk to her. But she said she would not be able to live without me and that she'd harm herself if I ever did that to her. She belittled me for even considering that she was being too rough on me, and called me a sissy for wanting to break up the minute things got real. Well, I loved Olivia and wanted to reassure her that there's no reason to be jealous. But no matter how many times I told her that I was faithful and that I only loved her, she would still find something to be upset about. She'd accuse me of flirting with other girls or even having secret conversations with them. Things got worse. Somehow even worse than before, yeah. When Layla's family, whom I grew up with, came to visit Layla in town. I hadn't seen them in years, and I simply wanted to catch up. When Olivia found out, oh boy, she was furious. She accused me of having feelings for Layla and demanded that I cut off all contact with her and her family. I was torn. I didn't want to hurt Olivia, but I also did not want to give up my friendship with Layla, who was practically my extended family. I tried to reason with Olivia, telling her that I had no feelings for anybody else and that I simply only loved her. But she could not listen. Despite the constant protestations of my loyalty and the lack of proof of the contraire, Olivia constantly questioned me and called me unfaithful. All the love in our relationship was slowly starting to evaporate. She started to smother me now. I just felt claustrophobic. When I was in the same room with her, it was bad, which was almost all the time, by the way. I started spending hours in the bathroom, escaping Olivia's watchful eyes and letting myself breathe. I was now justifying her craziness, telling myself she was cheated on before, so she was unstable and scared. I was trying to explain to myself that it would get better and that I had to play along until she trusted me completely. I finally thought it was getting better when Olivia introduced me to her friends. She let me hang out with them, and they were actually pretty nice people. Her friend Joshua gamed with me, and we got along great. She talked to me about her friend Mia, who loved talking about astrophysics, as did I. Well, she invited Mia over and we got to talking. I could tell that this girl was very smart as she talked animatedly about cosmic microwave background radiation. Mia knew her stuff, and that's what made it so fun for her to have conversations with. I was finally making new friends and things seemed to get a bit better for Olivia and me. But one day, Olivia, Joshua, Mia, and we were hanging out right there in the living room, watching a movie. Olivia pulled Joshua apart after the movie ended and whispered something into his ear. He was grinning as he listened to her, and he winked at me, and they both left together to do something. It seemed like Olivia was planning to surprise me. I was excited at the mere thought and was giddy with joy. I was left alone with Mia, so we talked about stuff, Olivia, a little. Mia was a little miffed that we were discussing Olivia, and she clearly seemed uncomfortable, so I changed the topic. We caught up with gossip and news, and she left after a while, leaving me alone at home. I called Layla and explained the exact whole situation to her. She seemed a little wary about Mia, but sounded genuinely happy that everything was finally working out for me and Olivia. Olivia came back and went to bed without even saying a word. Well, I was confused, but I just assumed that she was tired, and the next morning, I woke up to a note that Olivia was doing something, quote, personal, and that Mia was coming over to hang out. I felt really good. Olivia finally trusted me enough to leave me alone at home and just walk away without smothering me. I took a nice shower, made sandwiches for myself and Mia, and just sat on the couch watching the telly. Mia came over in the afternoon, and as usual, we just sat about on our phones, scrolling through Instagram and whatnot. I kept the phone down and asked Mia where she was from. Mia started talking about her Asian roots and how her parents moved here for a better life, and told me that Asian cultures were practiced in her home. It was all just very interesting to hear, and I thoroughly enjoyed hearing about these beautiful traditions she had at home. After talking for a while, I noticed that Mia was inching closer to me. Mia kept touching my arm and leaning in closer. Her perfume filled my nostrils. She told me about how nobody appreciates her culture and how I was very accepting. She claimed that she yearned for warmth of a kind of person and how I was the nicest man that she's ever laid her eyes on. She said she was feeling chilly, so I tried to get up to fetch her a quilt, but she tugged at my shirt and forced me to sit back down. I could not believe what was happening. Mia had been my friend for about a month, but I've never thought of her in that way, and yet there she was trying to seduce me. Well, I tried to push away, very gently telling her that I don't feel the same way, Mia. But she was persistent, whispering in my ear and running her hands through my hair like a TV commercial. Well, to be honest with you, I could feel my body responding, but my mind was telling me that this was wrong, and she placed her head on my chest. I simply pushed her off instantly, and she looked at me curious and hurt. She could not understand why I was rejecting her advances, but as I explained my feelings, she started to understand. Even though it was hard for her to accept, she eventually backed off, and I started to explain how I viewed her as only a friend, and how I loved Olivia. I told her I despised infidelity, and that if she cannot respect my boundaries, we simply cannot be friends with each other. And, well, she apologized profusely and pushed herself to the other corner of the sofa, far, far away from me. Then she went back on her phone. A little colder than before, I will admit. Well, I still got up and brought her a quilt because I knew she was still cold. and she smiled appreciatively. I also sat back down and scrolled on my phone, and she told me that she had to leave. So I saw her off at the front door, and almost as soon as Mia left, here comes Olivia back home. She was frowning, angry. I assumed that Mia confessed to her that she tried to seduce me, so she felt betrayed. I went to soothe Olivia and tried to hug her, but she shoved me hard and I toppled over. I gave her a questioning look. She inhaled deeply, then told me what she thought. She accused me of hooking up with Mia while she was gone. She claimed that the second she left me alone, I tried to seduce her. I never thought that Olivia would accuse me of being unfaithful, even though she had some issues trusting me. I'm telling you guys, this straight up came out of nowhere, out of left field. Like a bolt from the blue. See, I'd been seeing Olivia for a few months, and I thought everything was going smooth. Sure, yeah, we had our ups and we had our downs. Downs were a little lower than a usual relationship, yeah, but I thought we were moving forward. But then, one day, she just came out and accused me of cheating on her just like that. At first, I was shocked. I could not believe what I was hearing. But then as she continued to lay out her accusations, I started to feel angry. How could she even think that I would cheat on her? I had never given her any reason to doubt me, but as I tried to defend myself, Olivia just became more and more insistent. She had seen messages on my phone that she had proved I was cheating on her. She claimed I'd been flirting with Mia the entire time, but I knew that wasn't true. I had nothing to hide, and after rounds of going back and forth, after showing her my entire text thread with Mia, she finally confessed. She told me that Mia told her. She started talking about how Mia texted her about the intimacy we shared, about how she felt cold, and I was the one there to comfort her. Mia told her one thing led to the other and that we ended up getting intimate. She described it as the best sex of her life. Mia told her we were planning on continuing our sexcapade for as long as it took for me to leave Olivia and go to Mia. I was aghast. I actually really liked having Mia as a friend, and I never thought that she would turn on me like this. At first, I thought Olivia was making it up, but she showed me the entire conversation between her and Mia. It was really true. Whatever Olivia claimed that Mia said, it was true. My brain went into overdrive, thinking of ways I could prove myself, but hey, it was useless. There was no way I could prove my loyalty other than pleading with Olivia to believe me, so I did exactly that. I tried to reason with her, to explain that she was mistaken, but she simply would not listen. The more I protested my innocence, the more convinced she became that I was lying to her. In the end, there was nothing that I could do. Olivia had made up her mind, and there was no changing it at this point. I was devastated. I'd never been accused of something like this before, and it felt like my whole world was crumbling around me. I could see that Olivia had some deep-seated trust issues. She'd been hurt in the past and was just projecting those feelings onto me. Or she was just looking for an excuse to end things between us. Whatever the reason, I could not help but feel like I was unfairly accused. I loved Olivia, and I would never have done anything to hurt her. But sometimes things just don't work out the way you want them to. I took a day off from work to help Olivia pack and move her stuff out. I was in a lot of pain, but somewhere, I was slightly relieved. After she moved out, I sat back on my couch, wallowing in misery, but also feeling a bit free. So I reconciled with my friends and the next couple of days, and went out after work with the boys, headed right to the bar. I was a little tipsy when my phone starts ringing. I looked down at the phone and saw that I had a message from Mia. My heart sank just a little bit as I read the words she sent me. I just had to tell you how much I love you. You mean the world to me, and I can't imagine my life without you in it. Well, I knew that Mia had feelings for me, but I had hoped that they were just a passing fancy. My heart sunk even further as I read Mia's next message. Well, I'm just glad you broke up with Olivia. She wasn't right for you, you deserve better. She was a manipulating jerk. And she let her trust issues get the best of her. I know it's hard right now, but trust me, it's for the best. I could not believe what I was reading. Mia was my friend, but she had no right to comment on my relationship with Olivia. And the fact that she was using this as an opportunity to try to get closer to me made me sick. Well, I tried to brush off her message, responding with a simple, "Thank you." Just trying to change the subject. But Mia, she was not deterred. She kept telling me, pouring her heart out, and telling me how much she actually cares about me. As much as I appreciate her kind words, they just made me feel uncomfortable, and I didn't want to hurt her, but I could not reciprocate her feelings. I was drunk, and so I thought of playing along so that I could hear Mia's side of the story and why she lied to Olivia. So I indulged her for a bit. Then asked her why she said all that stuff to Olivia if she knew it was a lie. I mean, she could have come straight to me and talked to me about it, right? Well, got her. That's when Mia decides to speak the truth. She called me up, so I had no evidence to tell Olivia, though, but I was recording the call. She didn't think of that, did she? Mia told me that Olivia was the one who laid out this entire situation. Olivia's trust issues were so out of hand that she had to, quote, test me. She simply wanted to put me in a situation where I had full opportunity to cheat, and then catch me in the act with irrefutable evidence. She asked Mia to seduce me and inform her if we get intimate, or even better, tell her when it was about to happen so she'd catch us doing the nasty. Well, Mia then revealed guilty. Then since she had developed feelings for me, she lied to Olivia, and she said we did it. We had the best sex ever. Olivia then, in a fit of rage, broke up with me. Mia then talked about how Olivia straight up did not deserve me, and how I was way better than she could ever be. She mentioned how I should have been the one to trust her a little less, and that I displayed my loyalty, and Olivia fell there. I was confused by her last line, though, so I asked her to elaborate. And that's when Mia told me that Olivia would meet up with her ex while I was asleep and that she was unfaithful on multiple occasions. Well, this cleared up a lot, didn't it? Olivia was so scared I'd cheat because she was the one being unfaithful every now and again. This hurt me, admittedly, but it also strengthened my resolve not to go back to her, and I thanked Mia and cut the call. I mean, I never was going to go back to her anyways, but now I just had to clear the air. So I sent Olivia the call recording, and when she heard it, she just instantly called me. I picked up and she starts wailing, so I hung up, annoyed by her crying, and asked her to text me as I was with my friends at the bar, and she texted me this. Well, this is what she said. David, I just want to say how sorry I am for what happened between us. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you, but I promise that it won't happen ever again. Please, can we talk about giving our relationship just one more chance? Well, I could hear the desperation in Olivia's voice, but I wasn't sure if I was ready to forgive her, so I texted her back. Olivia, I appreciate your apology. I'm not ready to jump back into a relationship with you again. No, David, I just want you to know how much I love you and how much you mean to me. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things right between us. Anything. Take me back. Or I'll hurt myself to prove how much you really mean. Well, to be honest with you guys, I really just didn't care. Olivia, I don't know if I can trust you. You hurt me pretty badly, and I don't want to go through that again, Olivia. I just want to clear the air is why I sent you that voice message. You're a lying, conniving, no good, rotten, toxic person, and I don't need you plotting and controlling. I know I messed up, Davy, but I'm willing to work on our relationship and make things right between us. I just love you so much, I don't want to lose you. Olivia, if you don't stay away from me, I'll make sure your friends despise you. I'll tell everybody. Everybody will know who you really are. Well, I blocked her after that. But guess what? She emailed me. Yeah, dropped me an email saying that she'd hurt herself if I didn't take her back. The next day at work, she kept pestering me, and she even sat down on the floor by my desk, refusing to leave. Well, you could probably guess. This caused a ruckus in the office, and she was soon whisked away to the company's HR department. I just got so fed up and posted the recording between Mia and me, leaving the parts about her admission of love out of it for the sake of her privacy. I posted the screenshots of our text messages last night and the emails where she said that she'd hurt herself. In only a mere couple of hours, all my friends commented on the post defending me and taking my side. Heck, some of Olivia's friends even dragged Mia. They recognized her voice, I guess, and they called her also some very choice words. Wow, David, I've never seen a more toxic person than you, is what one of Olivia's friends commented on the post. Olivia was right to break up with you. Take this post down and apologize to her now, you freaking jerk. Well, this got me thinking about whether maybe I overreacted and was in the wrong here. So guys, did I do too much, and am I the a-hole for being a bit petty? Let me know in the comment section down below. So, I just kept feeling worse and worse for David. I mean, first his girlfriend tries to set him up, then she gets a job where he works, and at the very end of the story, she's there, curled up in a ball next to his work desk while he's just trying to survive. She gets called into HR, and we know what happens after that, but man, could you imagine how embarrassing that would feel? Whew, boy, I feel for David. Guys, I would love to hear what you thought about the story. Maybe you've been in David's position before with a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whoever, and you went through the same thing. So if you have, go ahead and share your experience down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. My name's Mr. Reddito. If you want more videos, check out the description for my other channels and the playlist for my favorite videos. And go ahead and subscribe while you're at it. Guys, have a fantastic day. I will see you tomorrow. I'll see ya.